I don't know how many of you heard some of the story that goes behind the declaration of the dogma of the Immaculate Conception, and it took place in Lourdes, and it was Saint Bernadette, and apparently as she had gone to the bishop and said that she had seen a vision of the Blessed Mother, the bishop said, well, give us a sign. What's her name? And Bernadette, and by the way, Bernadette probably would have been our resource rooms today. She's not the brightest of children. She went back, and the next time she saw the vision, she asked, what's your name? And apparently Mary said, I am the Immaculate Conception. Well, Bernadette had no idea what that was talking about, and she remembered it, and she went back to the bishop, and she said to the bishop, she says her name is the Immaculate Conception. And the bishop just fell apart because the dogma was being hotly debated in Rome, whether or not it was in there, because clearly it's not in Scripture. We didn't see it today. And that was one of the things that actually led to the declaration of the dogma of the Immaculate Conception, is Bernadette's confession that her name was the Immaculate Conception. Anyway, that's not in the readings, so let's look at those for today. I find it interesting, in the first reading and in the Gospel, we see somebody being approached by something. You know, obviously in the first reading, Eve was approached by the serpent or Satan, and in the Gospel, Mary is approached by Gabriel. And in both cases, they are told to do things that they found a little bit hard to understand. Eve probably had an easier time because, well, those apples look pretty good, but, God told us not to eat them, and the Satan and the snake kind of convinces her to do that. And of course, the snake is promising immortality in that process. Oh, no, the only reason God doesn't want you to eat those is, if you eat those, you won't die. And yet, we all die because they ate it. On the other hand, Mary is approached by Gabriel, and it's an interesting thing because Gabriel is a male. She was probably approached in the quarters of the women, which was not supposed to be a place where men went to. We don't know what Gabriel looked like. I have this beautiful picture in my home of just kind of this spirit. It was painted by, I've forgotten the name of the fellow. It was a black American, but it's, just kind of this image. Other pictures actually have an individual. By the way, some of the pictures have the individual wearing a deacon's stole. And don't know where that came from. And so Mary's, first off, this vision comes to her, this being, this vision, this angel, and then she's perplexed about that, and I love that word, she ponders it. Luke uses that word a lot. When you think about it, as later on, when things happen, it says Mary pondered this in her heart, and ponders a lot of things. I think we all need to ponder more in our lives anyway. And but nevertheless, Gabriel gives her a really, this makes Eve's thing look like a piece of cake. You are going to conceive of a child, and it will be the Son of God. And of course, she's going, I'm not even married yet. How is this going to happen? I haven't had any relations. And when you think about it, I think it's not so much the Immaculate Conception, it's the Immaculate Answer. When she says, do unto me as you will. In other words, yes, Lord, I will do this. It will be embarrassing. Joseph won't understand. The people may stone me, but yes, I will do your will. Now, she answered in the right way. Eve obviously didn't. And so our life, as there are, I won't say there are angels out there. There's probably a lot of snakes out there that are trying to talk to us. But we are approached in various ways by angels of some sort, trying to get us to do good things. We have the option to say no, and it's often a struggle to say yes when something happens. Now, this may be simply somebody along the street that needs some money, and I know there's a lot that goes behind that. But it's somebody asking for help. Something's happened and I need your help. You have the option of saying no. God is calling you to say yes, just as Mary said yes to that, to become the mother of God, to go through what she was about to go through. And the worst thing is, at the foot of the cross, after all of this, watching her son die on the cross. But again, I think we all have snakes in our lives, the Satan, and we also have Gabriel in our lives. And we have to really discern whose voice are we listening to, whose voice are we hearing and whose voice are we going to respond to?